You are now listening to the Be Your Own #Love Goals podcast with Mo Ari
and Tiffany.
We just want you to remember that every person, regardless of identity, wants these three things: belonging, authenticity, and love.
And after a decade of partnership, we've learned to co-create these things and so much more.
So from wherever you're listening, we're going to go on a journey of becoming our own #Love Goals. Now let's get into this episode. Hey, it's Mo Ari
and Tiffany,
and this is the Be Your Own #Love Goals podcast. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you all.
It's holiday time. We just passed the Thanksgiving holiday, and I know y'all went out for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and you already probably feeling some financial stress. I know every time this time of year rolls around, there are just extra things to pay for. Membership fees coming up in the beginning of the year. Everything just feels like it's coming up at the top of the year. So budgeting for this time, when there's all of this pressure to buy stuff, everything can create a certain level of stress that I think people underestimate.
Right.
Yearly, there are a lot of suicides that happen at this time of year because people are financially impacted, not just because of holiday spending, but because people are losing jobs at the end of the year, or just going through different changes at the end of this yearly cycle. So it's important to just keep checking in with yourself and managing that stress that comes up. So I wanted us to spend some time talking about the different ways stress can show up during this holiday season, because I think that it has more of an impact than we realize. The demand, the schedule changes, the shift in our routines, like all this stuff. Like, let's just talk about it. I know we talk a lot about the beautiful, merry, happy parts of the holidays, and it's important that in order to be able to indulge in the happy parts, that we prepare for that, to be prepared to manage the stress, so we really do get to be present. And I'm curious for you, Tiffany, if you are already feeling any of that pressure, or if I'm like just feeling it.
I feel like definitely. And I feel like for me, a lot of it is like this feeling of pressure around a number of things. And some of this pressure is probably real and some of it is probably perceived. But it's pressure around the gifts, that I'm supposed to give, or it's pressure around making it to this family tradition, or fitting it into my schedule, making sure I see this person before the year ends. Like, whatever the thing is, it's like this pressure that can often begin to feel like stress. Like, you begin to be stressed out about whether I can make this happen. Like, is it going to happen? What do I need to do to make it happen? And then in that stress, I feel like it removes you from being present. And then you kind of lose the essence of what the holidays are really supposed to be about. And so I am definitely starting to feel some of that pressure and some of that stress. I'm trying to at least be aware of it, so I'm mindful of it as it comes up.
In listening to you and in knowing you really well, I want to name the possibility too that some of your stress can get wrapped up in the excitement of getting to do all of the things and not knowing how to get all of the things done in this finite amount of time, this one holiday season, because we know it's not going to be that many holidays after Martin Luther King Day.
Let's
after
be
that,
honest.
It's like a long stretch
we got
of
like
no
5
holidays.
months of no holidays.
And it's a rough patch, okay? So I feel you. I feel you. This feeling like the excitement also can add to that stress. What are some other ways that stress can get activated during this holiday season? Like, let's dive in and talk about some of them. What's one of the first ones that comes to mind for you?
I think the family one is really big. So thinking about particularly for us having a family of our own, having two separate families, right? Like, you have a family that lives in Chicago.
Yeah.
Well, it's my family too, but your family of origin, my family of origin being in South Carolina. So for one, by virtue of us being different, we have different family traditions, right? We have different family gatherings. We have different ways of doing things for the holidays, or things I loved doing as a kid that you might not have done, and vice versa. And so thinking about wanting to honor those traditions, be there if possible, but also start my own, but like not wanting to lose the essence of something. You know, it's just a lot of stress with trying to figure out, what do I do? Is it going to be right? Is Nova going to like it? Like, is it going to feel magical for her? Will it feel magical for me? Like, I go in my head about all of that.
Oh my gosh. I can hear it.
Yeah.
Even as your voice began to dwindle, it's like you didn't even take a breath. You were just like in the flow of all of that. I know for Nova, she's going to be in awe of all of it.
Yeah.
She's just so smart. But like, she just loves lights and like,
oh my God,
she enjoys that. Like, you enjoy that. Yeah. I told you that wasn't a thing for me. So I'm like, my mom did have this big red heart, this really large wooden red heart. Now, when I say large, I want to say it had to be like, in my memory, it was like 4 foot by 3 foot to 4 foot wide kind of heart. And I imagine it was bigger than that because it had to be rectangle shape almost to be a heart. Anyway. And it lit up, and I think it said Jesus is the reason. But I just love this heart, and that it said, and it just lit up. That was my lights. Like, I loved that.
Yeah.
And at some point, the lights stopped working, and it was like the lights that you have. If one goes out, all of them goes out.
Yeah.
So I don't think she's yet to like really replace it. If I could replace that thing or get one made for her, that would be
beautiful.
Yeah. That might have to be an art project. We'll see. I love that. But so we had different traditions. And so I told you, for me, it's not the lights. It's a number of other things. But I imagine the stress of how we're going to manage bringing those traditions together really could impact many couples.
Yeah.
So it's and people in general. So and not wanting somebody to feel left out, or managing your own feelings of feeling left out, or like your expectations aren't met. That can really start to boil up in the inside, especially if you're not talking about it. So that's definitely a good one to be looking out for. I think balancing multiple celebrations goes hand in hand with that. There are so many different parties, activities that could come up during this time period. So
you could be booked and busy.
You really could.
Until
you might
the
have
end
to
of
say
the year.
Yes. You might have to say no to some stuff, Tiffany. I saw stuff on our calendar.
Did I add something to our calendar? This is the first time I'm hearing you saw something on the calendar.
I'm having a little. I'm not. The holiday season is slower because so many people are taking vacation and things. I think Tiffany is taking advantage of that. So she's like, I'm home more, and so it means me and Nova are gonna have to be doing some holiday fun stuff while you're being social, doing all of these things. But yes, I saw stuff on our calendar.
I didn't even know.
No, you did know because you put it there. I saw some little pink and green hearts next to it. I'm like, I
wonder what that means.
You're busy.
You know, I have been inside. Okay.
Yeah,
I've been inside. So come the holidays. Now I agree though. You have to be very cognizant and aware of the things that you sign up for.
Yeah.
I feel like even over the past couple of weeks, I've had people say, let's connect after Thanksgiving. Let's connect after Thanksgiving. At least 5 people. And I'm like, okay, there's not a lot of time in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I might have to catch you in 2024.
Oh my gosh.
And that feels so bad to say, but if you think about it, the time in this year is dwindling.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will have to keep checking in with the multiple celebrations.
And I think also when you think about that financial strain, having a lot of different celebrations, a lot of different gift exchanges, a lot of different anything can be taxing on your budget unless you're going to a bunch of potlucks or gatherings where you're not expected to bring something. So it can be really taxing if you're not cautious of expenditures. So you don't want to be adding to any kind of financial stress.
Or if it's like a super fancy party and you gotta be in very fancy attire that you don't currently have in your closet.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm getting a little stressed thinking about it.
Yeah, we're gonna move on from that. The solution there would be to establish a budget. That's like what my recommendation is. And to consider an alternative to or an alternative gift giving strategies. Like if you do like a Secret Santa or like the Elfster, I think is what we use, where you can do set up the gift exchange like for it to it kind of like automatically will select who your person is and you buy them a gift, things like that, to communicate openly about those financial constraints and not have so many people to give gifts to. Like if you try to give gifts to every aunt, uncle, niece, nephew, mom, dad,
it's a lot. It adds up.
It's a lot.
And I know people want to be giving and spread holiday cheer. And it's an opportunity to even be creative about what giving or what gifts might look like.
Yeah.
Ones that are more aligned with your budget. It doesn't have to be like a big fancy gift.
Right.
Like it can be so many other things. You can bake cookie. Like it's so many things. You can give your time. So getting creative too with your budget and how you give gifts.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's like, I was just thinking about what it was like to be a kid and just get to spend the time with family. I didn't care that I wasn't getting gifts from my aunts and uncles.
Yeah. It was just something so beautiful about being together. Never wanting it to end.
As a kid, you just really want to be around those people.
And depending on where you lived and where your family members lived, sometimes it was that once a year where you were seeing a lot of those people. They were all in the same room. So it's very special.
Very special. Very, very special. Some other aspect of stress that I think comes up that we don't talk about enough is loneliness.
Yeah.
So like if you're not feeling like you have enough celebrations to go to. So we just talked about having too many. Sorry. We just talked about having too many celebrations. Loneliness is actually like having not enough. Not as many to your liking. And that can be really impactful because it can get to our feelings of belonging, our feelings around connection, love. It can be really challenging to manage. So I encourage anybody who's experiencing loneliness during this time to lean into friends, community, any kind of village that you have at your disposal. I mean, if anybody you feel close to, ask them if you can go to their celebrations. Say, I'm really experiencing loneliness. Can I really kind of be with you during the holidays and go to your celebrations and, you know, be with your family and just really lean in there if you can, if you have the opportunity to do so. It might really be beautiful, and you might end up contributing a lot of your positivity and love to their celebration as well.
Yeah, that loneliness can be a doozy. It can be my heart goes out to anyone that might be experiencing that, and definitely reach out. And I feel like, me personally, I will make the even extra effort to reach out to friends or people in my own space and community that that are single, or that, you know, that could be more prone to that loneliness, or anybody for that matter.
I was gonna say, statistics are showing, you know, that everybody's kind of been hit hard in the aftermath of the pandemic. It's really changed how we've been able to connect, our feelings around whether or not we're able to connect. So loneliness is really impacting so many people.
Yeah.
And it's not just people who are who are not in romantic relationships.
Yeah.
Because when you think about, so many people have lost parents or other people in the pandemic, they didn't get to go to funerals, other things. Going through the holidays without those members of your family can enact that loneliness feeling, even if you have a partner, kids, whatever. So anybody could experience that. So I appreciate you saying that and clarifying, because it totally could be anybody. Now, for queer people specifically, I know we face many challenges that other groups may not experience to the degree that we do. So I wanted to spend some time talking about what it could be like as a queer person navigating the stress during the holidays. Like, what kinds of stress might be coming up for us and from our experiences. And the first one for me is like lack of acceptance.
Oh my God. Yeah.
If you're
hands down.
Yeah. If you're contemplating going to holidays or not, having to wrestle with whether or not you're going to be alone, or whether or not you're going to go to a space that's going to be activating, triggering, whether you have the choice to be in that space or not, all kinds of things. It can be extremely stressful.
Extremely stressful, because you're navigating so many different things. Like, you want to be accepted, probably would love to be celebrated, but at the bare minimum, it's like, I want you to use my correct pronouns.
Absolutely.
Or I want you to acknowledge that I have a partner, that they might not be here, but like, let's not forget that this is a part of my life. Like, so many different things that might come up that I feel like are extremely stressful, and they're hard to deal with.
Sometimes when I'm considering whether or not I'm going somewhere, will this person, like, I don't want to be in a space where I'm going to be activated. If that person really isn't good with my pronouns, I don't know if I feel like doing that, especially on the holidays. I don't feel like being bothered. I don't want to have to go in a space and be Mo, the person who transitioned I haven't seen for many years. I want to be just Mo. If I can go and be just Mo Ari, I'm good. But I don't want to come in your house and I have to be Mo, the transgender person. Like, that is a lot. And so for queer people, it's all of, I was telling somebody today that it's so many reunions you have to go through when you're like coming back home for the holidays as a queer person, let alone a trans person.
So many.
I'm so tired of doing reunions every time I go home for the holidays. Somebody you haven't seen in forever who wants to remember that time when you had pigtails. It's like, y'all don't see this beard? Stop talking to me about that time I was in the dress.
Just no awareness. None.
And that's okay, because maybe they just don't know. But it's like, for me, it's taxing. But I have so much empathy, because it's like, maybe I'm the only transgender person you know.
That's true.
So you're like just talking. And it could be because they're excited, uncomfortable. They could be still trying to make a good impression and just blowing it. So I try to hold compassion. And I'm saying this lightheartedly, but it can just be such a big, it could be a heavy lift to always have to have a reunion whenever you're going back home. Somebody being shocked by your appearance. That's you? Well, it's a lot.
And in that case, and I would say a lot of cases where queer people are experiencing this lack of acceptance, it can be really helpful to have allies. They're present with you. And sometimes those allies are people in your family. It could be a parent, it could be a sibling, somebody to kind of be a buffer in these situations that might be uncomfortable.
That's a good idea.
Or you're doing these reunions, or you like, Mom, please go give them the update on X so they don't come over here asking me something that's inappropriate.
Nah, I've had that happen. I was crying. I had to take my mama upstairs. Like, Mom, you did not give this person an update.
Yeah.
And she was like, I did talk to them. I was like, you talked to them? Oh, they just ignorant.
Yeah.
On their own. And that just made me feel better. I'm like, my mama talked to them. So even though they like were problematic on their own, right? Like, it felt good to feel like I had that allyship though. Yeah. So to your point, just to have a support, have people in your that are going to be there that can also support you in navigating that. Exactly. So if somebody's misgendering you, have them prepped and ready to step in. Actually, they use these pronouns. This is how you use them.
Yes, y'all might have a way y'all look at each other from across the room where they know, like, we see each other. Like, yes, you need me to come rescue you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, just don't even be across the room.
Yeah,
be right next to me.
Be right next to me. And just swag swoop in there.
Oh my gosh, right? You need that allyship. Yes.
I think queer people can also feel pretty isolated.
Yes.
Given, these situations, if they're in a family that doesn't accept them or doesn't celebrate them, they can choose not to go, not to be a part of that. And that comes with a lot of sacrifice, I would say.
Yeah.
Potentially being isolated from their family or other people.
And even if their family does accept them, sometimes our families still haven't done the work to release heteronormativity, hetero supremacy, anything that kind of this way of operating and thinking that puts heterosexual identity, gender binary thinking as the norm. So often we end up feeling isolated for that reason as well.
Extremely isolated. And I mean, in those situations, I would say that it's really important to seek out, again, your queer friendly friends or people in your village or events. If it's like the day of the holiday, you might have someone in your village who comes from a family that is very, very, very celebratory, and you might ask to join them. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But having a plan ahead of time if you suspect any of that isolation might occur. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say the isolation can sometimes be unpredictable. So you might not go in there knowing that you're going to feel like that.
Yeah.
Again, like sometimes you have families that are accepting, but they might not be up to date on terminology, pronouns, whatever, or they might just not. Maybe you're in a space where you want to be talking about queer stuff with people and you don't have anybody else there to be queer with,
Yeah.
Or where you feel like you can fully show up. So sometimes, like, it's not that your family doesn't accept you. The isolation can happen when we're not expecting it to.
Yeah. It can even happen in the same space. Like, you can choose to go to, let's say, this gathering and you feel isolated in that space. So it's so many different ways this can show up.
So sometimes I would say, like, those gender expectations. So sometimes I would say those gendered expectations can impact our experiences as well. So let's say I am a person who identifies as a man, but I'm like more interested in like being in the kitchen and cooking and things. But all the guys are asking me to go out and play football with them, right? Like, maybe I'm like, oh, this is really uncomfortable for me because I'd rather be in the kitchen. But then I'm getting this pressure like, man, come on. The guys, we going to be out here. If you feel those kinds of things, then it can be isolating as well. Or let's say, it's like the guys are playing football, but you're like you're a woman who likes to play football. and you're like, I'm coming out here, and they're like, nah, this is just the guys. Like, that would be very isolating as well, right? Or if let's say you're a masked woman and you come in home to your partner's family and they're like, well, all the women here, we cook for the men. And you like, I absolutely will not be cooking. I'm going to be out here with the brothers. And if you met any pushback from that, it might be really isolating and uncomfortable. These are just ways that I think queer people, we experience these kinds of stressors without even knowing it during the holidays. I think navigating partner dynamics and relationships during that time is important too. Whether you're with your partner or not. Because if you're not with your partner, that could be a whole other thing.
Oh my gosh. Yes. It's so many things that come up. Like you're saying, the stress of taking your partner home, your partner not being there, and then the reason why your partner's not there, is it because you didn't think that they would be accepting, and then that could feel stressful. You could feel like you're in the middle somewhere, like, should I have been with my partner? Like, it's so many different things that can come up.
I'm also thinking bringing your partner home can be like coming out again, let alone the people who are coming out for the first time during the holidays. Sometimes this is when people often come out because everybody's there. So it's like, okay, I can come out to everybody as a group.
One fell swoop.
So coming out during the holidays can be a source of stress, right? Or if this is the first time you've seen your family since you've come out. As LGBTQ plus.
And then with pronouns too. Like, if you haven't really been in space and community with your family and they haven't had the opportunity to use pronouns, you could be like, are they going to use them appropriately? Like, are they going to receive it? Will I be offended? Like, so many things.
And it could be like coming out again and again. Like I said, if I haven't seen somebody in a long time, those reunions can feel like coming out again. Why every holiday as a trans person are we having to come out of a closet we do not exist in
every single time?
Like, it's somebody like, I ain't seen you in years. What? You cut your hair? That is not all that has changed about me.
Right. Exactly.
But for whatever reason, we keep having these conversations.
Oh my God. So many conversations, Mo. So many. They're a little cringy. I feel like, did y'all think about that before you said it?
They don't.
So these things they happen all the time, like, for so many people, and especially queer people. And so I'm wondering, as we, as we're in the thick of holiday season, like, how can we help people? Like, what are some tools, like #love resources for navigating this time?
I encourage people to set realistic expectations about what they can manage, what they can't manage. So if it's a holiday event that you want to go to or don't want to go to, be clear about that and understand what your boundaries are.
Oh my gosh, yes.
If you can go in knowing what your minimum and what your max is, you are good to go. A side thing I'm going to throw in there, and then I'm going to let Tiffany give some ideas. I always tell my clients to have a plan B. Have a backup plan. If you need an exit strategy, plan that ahead of time. Not to just get out of things, but so that you can easily shift into some type of self-care practice. We don't want to stay in environments that are too activating or in a stress situation too long. So if we are feeling stressed, we need coping strategies for the moment, ways of distracting ourselves, way of self-soothing in the moment so that we can reduce our stress and then get to some type of grounding space. But if we are staying in that heightened state of stress constantly during the holiday season, it's not good. And so it would definitely have an impact on our mental health, our cognitive function, all kinds of things, and we won't have a good holiday experience. So I say really figure out what your plans are going to be and set your boundaries accordingly.
The self-care is really important here, and I think a part of self-care is setting boundaries. Like, knowing when to say no, knowing when to say, okay, this is enough. And I think additionally, you may need to start the day from a grounded place. Well, I know I need to start the day from a grounded place. Now, what that looks like for each person can be different. You might want to meditate or go for a walk. Or even at the end of the conclusion of these events, you might say, like, you know what? I need to take a nice warm bath tonight to really relax. And I think that it's very important for us to be very self-aware as to what we might need in these moments. And because of the holidays, our routines can get very off, right? Like whether we work out, let's say 4 times a week, or we wake up at 5 a.m. every day, like those things might get a little bit shifted during the holidays. And so if there are particular routines that you feel like will keep you grounded, that you really need to keep, by all means, try and keep them. I know it can be challenging, but it can be a way to stay connected and to really keep the stress at bay as best as possible. Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just looking at Tiffany like, wow, I love my wife.
Oh, I was like, why are you looking at me like that? Thank you. I'm listening to you. I love you too.
And I just had this moment while I'm like listening to you give this very, very good advice. Like, wow.
Yeah.
This is grounding. This is relaxing. This is like, this is my advice to indulge in relationships, to go where you're celebrated during this time, to really lean into relationships that fill up your cup, really to do things and activities with people that inspire you, that you admire, who you find enchanting. This is just, I think that that's the lesson that's coming to me right now in this moment. That because I was having a difficult day, being transparent prior to this episode. Me and Tiffany had some good conversations. We leaned into recording this episode. By the way, we're recording this at night while our daughter is sleeping.
It's probably like 11 midnight or something. Yeah.
And just listening to you talk during this holiday season, and just like having your companionship to de-stress after the day I had, and to lean into this conversation just shows me how important it is to be intentional about that self-care, but also leaning into the relationships that can support you. So thank you for just being you in this. I wanted to say that out loud to our audience.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. I'm cheesing. Thank you. I'm working on receiving. I received that.
Okay. So, oh my God. Tiffany talked about your self-care rituals. Keeping up with your routines is so important. You got a workout routine, any kind of routine. Keep it solid during this time.
Especially if you have kids. They just add in a whole other
sleep
thing.
Going. If you can't keep anything else going while you're traveling, keep the sleep and the naps going. It's going to help you out.
Even if it's not at the exact same time, make sure they get a nap.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Absolutely. Stay away from the extra sugars and other things like that too. Because you already are gonna have a rush of dopamine.
Yeah. And like by virtue of it being the holiday,
you don't need the extra sugar, and the kids don't either. It'll make you more stressed.
Yes.
Creating a budget, I feel like, is so important too during this time. We talked about that a bit earlier. The thing that me and Tiffany love to do a lot is to set intentions. So to go into anything that we know is going to be offering us a little bit more challenge with an intention. And that intention can be simply to be at peace and to be at flow with the holiday season. That whatever is supposed to happen will happen. Whatever is for you will come to you. What is not for you will pass you by. That you surrender to the unfolding of this holiday season. That no matter what happens, you will be at peace. If you set that as your intention, you can go through this season with ease. But you know your personal situation, so you can set that intention as necessary.
Yes. As you were saying that, I was thinking about how much of a game changer it's been to set intentions with travel.
Yeah.
Because for me, travel can be extremely stressful, especially with a toddler. Road trip, airplane, like whatever the situation. So setting the intention of having a stress-free, safe, and might I add fun travel experience has changed the game for me. It's allowed me to lean in different ways, and it has allowed me to really be present to the intention that I set. And I feel like when I set the intention for it to be great, then it manifests as such.
Yeah. Absolutely. Beautiful.
Oh my God.
Thank you for saying that out loud too.
Yeah.
All right, I've got this truth or truth question for you to wrap up this episode.
Okay, let's hear it.
Sex at your parents' house?
You starting off wrong.
All right, we gonna
go
set this question up right. Would you rather have sex at your parents' house or sex at your own house, but your parents are in the next room during the holidays?
Wow. Neither?
Nope, not an option. Would you rather?
I am going to choose having sex at my house.
Yeah.
In the room next to my parents, right? But my parents in the next room.
Because it feels less disrespectful.
It feels less disrespectful, but also more familiar. Like, I know how the bed is going to creak.
Yeah.
Like, I just know more. I'm more familiar with my own space. So I know, like, whether I need to be in the closet or on the floor to not have the noise.
Now, mind you, we got here because our parents did not care about...
Okay.
I could at least say for me, because I am the youngest of many children.
Exactly. Did not care.
So I'm gonna imagine they would not have the same respect for us. Not that it's disrespectful anyway. But that's funny. I would also choose our house as well.
Yeah. I mean, no. Okay, yeah.
So what? No gobble gobble and
no gobble. No, I can't do it. I mean, it was a would you rather. Like, what is the like? Which one you choosing? I'm gonna choose mine, but you know,
you would prefer not to be in any of these situations. Yes, absolutely.
Also, I don't know if they're listening right now.
We don't know.
Hey, y'all.
Hey. What do you all think, audience? I need y'all to chime in. Let us know on social media what you would choose. Or you can let us know in the poll on Spotify. Well, this has been an amazing episode of the Be Your Own Love Goals podcast. We are just so grateful for you all. Keep tuning in. We're going to have more and more great episodes during this holiday season. We just got so many good things coming.
So many good things.
So excited to be with you all. Thank you all. Hug your loved ones tighter during this time.
Definitely.
We are so grateful
for you all. Take care of yourselves.
Yeah, take care of yourselves. We are so grateful for you all tuning in every week. We love you all. Okay, this has been Be Your Own Love Goals podcast with Mo Ari
and Tiffany.
Have a great day and be well.
Bye.
Bye.
If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Video episodes are on YouTube and Spotify.
If you want your question included in an upcoming episode, feel free to reach out to us on Instagram at Be Your Own Love Goals or check out our website at lovegoalspodcast.com. We look forward to hearing from you soon.
Bye.